Number 8, New Beginnings. When I felt drained, I go to my power source. It's the Our Father, who art in heaven. Holy is thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive me of my sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from evil. For thy is the power and the glory forever and ever. And then I go into putting on that important armor. Put that armor on. Yep, never leave home without the armor of God. Badge showed me that. What's armor? Ephesians 6 spoke of this. The belt of truth, to balance my emotions. So I became so nauseated from all the junk, not food, but spiritual junk. I could feel it as I drove to get home from the missions with Alliance. It was welcome to Cook County, and wham, here's your sard order of tar trying to stick to your soul. Then you got the breastplate of righteousness. Yeshua, my Jesus, I need your light and purity over this wicked human heart, for it tends to wander from you when I'm not in the light. And then my feet are covered by your shoes. Why shoes? To keep my faith in peace and in balance. Shoes keeps rocks from cutting you up when you don't take the time to seek God and forgive others. You can get off balance. And when you fall, this may take other people down with you. And then you got your shield of faith. This is the one thing I was continued that stayed with me very well. To stay invisible to the enemy. I knew as a child being invisible was a good thing. That kept me out of trouble, for no one bothered to invite me into places that would have got me into sin. Two, once you are seen by the enemy and they start shooting at you with those fiery darts, the shields will come in handy to put those darts out. 3, the helmet of salvation. Yahweh, my Jesus, is my salvation. And not to get lost in one other belief systems. Jesus was the only one willing to shed his blood and his human life, a perfect human life, without sin, to pay for my sins. And then you got the sword of the Spirit. That's the very word of God. Yes, the Bible is not a dried up old book. This book is alive. And in the hands of a spiritual driven believer, it becomes powerful and not to be handled foolishly. For like a sword, it can cut both ways. Man, back in Iowa, I won't forget, I got my butt kicked by a couple of bats. Never go to a place without filling up with God, the Father. You will become like me. We thought we were just visiting a fellow church Christian, just to pray. You heard the saying, birds that flock together stay together. Well, my mistake was that instead of going to a fellow worker, like a bird aviary, of birds of the same family, only to find it was a game-on battle. Wow, it's like going to war without any ammo. We did not see we were entering into a Leviathan, demonic-controlled territory. That it really got mad, for we came to shine light on the Christian who was being attacked and weakened. So we prepared as she requested. True, we didn't enter the house, typically like any normal Christian folk. So she was in fear because we did appear to be like a bunch of hippies. So next came a visitor from Vegas, and he had touched one of the lions, right? And it had appeared like he got the upper hand, and the other lion, she noticed he had a funny way of avoiding eye contact with her. And I left without even touching the man. Like a bird, I flew out fast. So as I ran out of the house, once out the door, I didn't even see the interaction with the lions. We jumped into a car and we started to drive. So our first mistake is we moved without prayer. So we didn't armor up. We were chased by those bats and it hit all of us. And the symptoms of being spiritually attacked did show itself in the natural. We became emotionally drained and then agitated and nearly hostile with each other. So in our emotions, we wound up snapping at each other at the points of targeting our weak areas in our spirit. Words of pain and then regret. So once the car had stopped, we had to go back to our wounds, pray first in love, and forgive each other. God had mercy on us, and we survived the battle, and the church-going Christian sister got prayer for revival, not just for her, but for the whole community. For we did see her house becoming a lighthouse. And finally, we learned a valuable lesson. Always armor up and bring ammo. So more on the helmet of salvation. The enemy plays head games all the time. First with doubts of learning to trust our fellow believers. And second place, it can touch us as kids physically. And those are the very areas the enemy paints targets on to hit over and over again. No amount of habits or rituals, I call band-aids, will cover up those wounds this deep. So when wounds this start to fester, and as a nurse, we know wounds need cleansing and tender care until healed.